I got in this field 10 years ago. I've been sober now 11 years, a little over 11 years, and at 1 year of sobriety, I jumped in this field. I didn't really know what I was going to do. My wife had been praying me to die. That is a true story. Luckily, she's my best friend today. But back then, I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I left for treatment 4 days after my son's first birthday, and I went to Bradford. I graduated Bradford after 28 days. I knew I needed more. I didn't believe that 28 days was going to be enough for me. I dug a pretty big ditch. So I went to a place in Mississippi, and while I was over there, I continued to work on myself. I continued to try to get better. My wife and I weren't really getting better, maybe because I was selfishly working on myself some more, or maybe just because God had a different plan. But I found a job working at a treatment center over there close to 1 year, a little bit before a year, I believe. And during that process, my wife and I did end up getting back together, working out our differences. And at almost 2 years sober, I decided it was time to come back home to Alabama, move back home with my wife and my son, who at that point was 3 years old. And I got a job at Bradford. You had to have 2 years of abstinence to qualify for a position there. And I started working at the Warrior facility, Warrior Lodge. And up there, I learned about a place called the Reprieve. And I loved it. It was everything that I wanted in my life. I had all your normal trauma and grief. In my opinion, I had a lower level of grief and trauma than a lot of the individuals we serve today. There's just some real significant stuff out there that people go through, and I don't feel like that was my story. But what I found out in my second time in treatment, in the in-between, was that I lacked a relationship with a God of my understanding. That there were some spiritual principles and some spiritual ideas that I needed to have in my life, and I wanted to go somewhere that helped me with that. And everybody told me the 12 steps were a model for making that happen. So I found out about the Reprieve, and that's what they did. It was a 60-day model, and I said I want to be a part of that. And I always say the disease of addiction is progressive, so the programming of this facility better be progressive, because it's not stopping because we think we have the best policy or the best practices. We have to continue every day to continue to get better, and we're modeling what it looks like to get better to our residents. So that's the big philosophy here. We believe in psychiatry, we believe in therapy, and we believe in a 12-step modality, in a 12-step modality. So we work on that and trying to implement that in their lives every day. And we believe the secret to success is helping them understand how to build healthy relationships. That's where we first get an introduction of what God feels like in our life. So that's a pretty big deal. That's the theme of this facility, is how do we help them find their understanding of God. In understanding what we mean, because sometimes it's a barrier to say the God of my understanding, and sometimes it is a way to knock down a barrier when you say the God of my understanding. But to really understand or explain what we mean by that, it's just meaning that we're going to simplify it. And we're going to keep you from having to believe anything. We're not going to keep you. We're going to allow you to take your own direction in developing your relationship. It's not that we're going to put God in a box and say this is all that you can believe in. It's that we're going to give you some fundamental ideas, some real simple concepts. And if you'll start here, we believe that you can get to another level and develop your own relationship. We just don't tell them what God looks like. Here's the truth. We live in the South, and we've all had heavy influences and a lot of ideas about different religions and different things like that. And when you come out of what you believe to be an experience of hell on earth, it's real hard when you see other people that are free and happy to believe that you weren't scorned or left behind. It's not true. It's not true at all. But it doesn't change the human nature of believing that that's our truth. So in order to get them past that barrier of, oh, no, I went to church, or oh, no, I went to this, or I did that, or my family has this religious practice, or this God idea, that doesn't work for me. Well, okay, but let's start simpler. Nobody starts in the 12th grade, right? Nobody begins college. We got to go to kindergarten. Let's just be honest. And that's the easiest concept. Not saying that AA is the kindergarten idea of religion, but it kind of was for me. I needed some basic concepts. And when they told me, look at the things that you admire in others, look at the characteristics of those that you think are or doing well, or you wish you had a part of what they had. And I started to look at that. Someone who was forgiving, someone who was loving, someone who was kind, someone who was gentle. And then they said, aren't those the concepts that you believe God would have? Because isn't that a power greater than what you have? And I said, yes. Now, let's start implementing that at the most basic level of your life, the most basic function of your everyday life. Can you add in one of those characteristics? And being able to do that was influenced by a God of my understanding. Here's some of the ones I love. My favorite one was a group of drunks, because I found that in AA when I went into a room and there was a bunch of people there. And I don't ever talk about AA, by the way, because we're not supposed to. But in a 12-step, when I walked into a 12-step facility and a 12-step meeting, and I saw all these individuals in there that all gave me a hug and said, welcome, and glad you're here, and be a part, keep coming back. That was a power greater than me. Because everybody that I'd been around was like, what do you got? What can we pawn from your family? Hey, has your wife got good jewelry? Oh, let's go get your son's piggy bank. Group of drunks. That was a power greater than me. Good orderly direction ended up being my favorite. It was just talking about taking the next right step. So for a long time, I used to say, do the next right thing. And then I'm probably 3 years ago, which is unfortunate for someone, but it's over 11 years, I was sitting in one of those 12-step meetings and I heard someone say, don't do the next right thing, because your addict mind can justify what's right. You can tell yourself something's right even when it's wrong. Do the next responsible thing, because we all know what's responsible. And now I live by that all the time. I always, and I tell residents that, almost every day, I tell staff that, what's responsible? Brett, I don't know what to do here. What should we do? What do you think our direction is? What's our intervention on this guy? What is right? Let's not do what's right, what's responsible by them. And then what's responsible by my son, what's responsible by my wife, by my daughter, by my other son, by my father, whatever it is, by my neighbor. If I live like that, that's a God of my understanding that's shining through my life. If someone's struggling with addiction, what do? Reach out to whoever you know that's an expert. I don't necessarily always recommend getting on Google and finding the first place that says they're willing to help, because we both know a lot of people can put a lot of money behind Google advertisement and not necessarily do what they say they're going to do. I will say this, and I'm super biased. I work for Bradford Health Services, but they've also been in our state for more than 40 years. They understand how to help someone that's struggling with addiction and substance abuse. So that would be a resource that I would say call the main number, look up Bradford Health. There's crisis consultants waiting. Call our number. Our number's posted. We have a gentleman named Jared Murray that answers a lot of it, but we also have another on-call phone that's answered by our administrator, that's answered by one of our specialists. Everybody's willing to help. And here's the thing, not necessarily to get you here, but to get you to the right place, because that's the second part of your question. Who do we look for this program? Well, the number one criteria for a reprieve for men and a reprieve for women is substance abuse. We don't help people that don't have substance abuse. It's not because we don't want to, it's just not our expertise, and we're not here just to waste your time. This is what we are really good at. So if you have substance abuse addiction or alcoholism or whatever you want to call it, we can help you. The other criteria is we're very good at helping those that are lost, that don't have direction, that are seeking independence. The people that we don't really do that well with are those that maybe have a career that they love, or they're established, but they can't quit drinking. We want those that maybe if they have a job, they don't have any reason, they don't understand why they're going to that job. Does that make sense? So I was kind of the avatar for this program. So this is the easiest way for me to tell the story. I was 29 years old. I'd gotten out of college. I worked at Fox 6 News in Birmingham. I left there. I worked for a company. I worked for Jim Burke downtown. I had a guy. I played football in college. I sucked. I wasn't very good. But they gave me a scholarship, so I went anyway and made some lifelong friends. But I had a buddy when I was leaving Fox 6. He was like, man, you should come over here with us. This is what all the football players do. And I was like, okay, man. Back to the huddle. I wasn't a big fan. It was an incredible experience. I learned some stuff. I learned about interacting with people, especially when they don't want to interact with you. So that was cool, because that's what these addicts and alcoholics do. I think God prepared me for that. Like, when you go in a car lot, you don't want to talk to a salesman. When an addict goes to treatment, he doesn't want to talk to a counselor or administrator, and never the director. So luckily, I learned some stuff and was prepared. I worked for a construction cleanup and erosion control company. I did all these different things, but it was always chasing a paycheck, if that makes sense. I was always just going wherever I thought I could get the next check, or what the next person would think, oh, that's impressive, or a title, right? But none of it meant anything to me, and none of it gave me peace and fed my spirituality. I had dumb luck. At that year that I was talking about earlier, where I got sober and started working in this industry, I finally found something I love. So that was a big deal. That's who we're looking for. Is that individual is like, I've done this, or maybe, I played football in college, if you want to know the truth, because my father was like, you can either get a job or you can play football. And I was like, yeah, football sounds fun, right? Well, there's how many people do you know out there that their father or their family influenced them and said, go do this or be a part of this or come back to the family business, because maybe it was a little bit easier, maybe it was something that you just knew you could go into, but it didn't feed them. This program is about feeding people. Our goal is to introduce a concept of God, what that looks like, what that is in your individual life, but then also help you figure out what that looks like and what you're going to do for the rest of your life. It's not just enough to quit drinking and drugging. That's not the truth. That's the symptom that society shows us and makes us aware that there's a problem. The real void is within that spiritual contact with others, that spiritual contact with yourself. So in order for us to be successful, we truly have to help them see how to interact with you, how to interact with their family, how to interact with others, but then also what are they going to do with their life. When I come here to work, I feel spiritual. When I get to interact with others, I feel spiritual. That also carries me home. When I'm with my kids, I'm with my wife. It assists me in being a better husband, a better father, a better neighbor, because that's so important. That's what this is about. That's who we serve. Substance abuse, primary, absolutely. But then those who are trying to find their way. The whole thing used to be failure to launch. They all launched. A lot of them went to college, went somewhere, they launched. They're just lost in orbit. They're just floating around with no direction, have no idea what they're going to do. We're trying to help them find their journey, the true journey, right? What were their skills and their abilities? They match up with their gifts. That's what we want, those God-given gifts and talents. Mesh that together, and you start to feel whole. Then it means something to be spiritual. And question I get asked all the times by families: what's your success rate? What are you success? My answer is always this: what do you base that off of? I could give you some statistics. I could make up some statistics. I could tell you that this many percentage stay for a year. I could tell you this many people stay sober throughout that year. This many people relapse within a year. But the true statistics are never going to be what any of us want. That's the absolute truth. I'm never going to be able to give you a statistic. It's difficult. It's brutal. I wish I could tell you that I could cure every person that came through every one of our programs. But chasing statistics is not the answer. And anybody that tells you that they have a really high statistic is lying. And run. And if they see this and they don't like what I'm saying, call me and I'll be glad to have that conversation with you, because it's just not true. The statistics, if it's not 100%, I don't care anything about them. But I do have one guarantee. If you keep them in a program, whether it's this program or another program, you keep them in for a year. In this program, for sure, I can guarantee it. If you hold them with us for a year, we will build a strong enough relationship. We will build a strong enough rapport with them. Even if they do leave here and they go out and they use, we'll be the first phone call they make. They will know where the solution is, and they will come back. They will want to come back, and they'll say, I'm ready. And to me, that's still a win. That is a victory. I'm not saying that relapse is a part of this thing, or that everybody has to relapse, or people should go to multiple treatments. But what I am saying is, if we get them back when it does happen, and they don't die from this disease, and we still have a shot to save their life, that is a win. I'll hang my hat on that every day, and I will live proud with my head up high that gentleman came back to us, that lady came back to us, that we still have a shot to save their life. Or if they're not appropriate to come back and something else is coming back, we will still be the vessel that carries them to the other facility. We are not the type of facility that always says, hey, we're the only cure, we're the only place, we're the best. Man, we're a really good facility that will give our heart, we will love your loved one the way you want them to be loved. I say that all the time too. It's just absolutely true. I'm going to treat your family like I would treat my family. But also I'm going to be honest. And if they don't need to come back here and this isn't the right spot, I know a lot of other good facilities will help get them to. That's the goal, right? And the goal is to help them be sober forever and continue our relationship for the rest of our lives.